We are going to do division today, fractions, how we do division with fractions. So I have before me a problem, 1 divided by 2/3. I have my 1 whole material here, so this is my 1. My problem is saying I have to divide this one by 2/3. I have my skittle here. This is my unit skittle, and is divided into 3 parts. So each of these parts is a third. My problem says to divide 1 by 2/3. So I'll put this aside and take just 2/3. So I have my 2/3 skittle. I'll just put this aside, 2/3. So to be able to divide this 1 whole by 2/3, I'll need to exchange this into halves. So let's go ahead and exchange the 1 whole into halves. So I'll put this aside. Now I can divide the 1 whole to these 2/3 skittles. 1/2 for you and 1/2 for you. But we know in division the answer is what 1 skittle gets. The answer is always what 1 unit gets. So I'll have to bring this 1/3 piece, and I have to be fair. I have to give this 1/3 piece 1/2 as well. So I have my 1/2 here to give to this. Now I have my answer. Because remember, the answer in division is always what 1 skittle gets, what 1 unit gets. So in the same way, let us see what we have here. But before then, what do we have here? We have 3/3. We have 3 halves. 1/2, 2 halves, 3 halves. So we have 3 halves. So I'll write my 3 halves this way. Three halves. And what would that give me? 3 halves. So this is 1 whole, and then I have 1/2. So 3 halves is the same thing as 1.5. 1.5. But I don't want to reduce it, I just want to leave it as 3 halves. You can see it here. 3 halves is the same thing as 1.5, which you can write this way. This 3 halves. 3 halves equals 1. This is the 1 whole number. And a half. This is the half. But I want to leave it as 3 halves. Now let's do another division problem. Suppose this time around I have this problem, so I have 3, and I want to to divide that by 3/4. 3/4. So I'll have to get my 3 units there, 3 whole. I have one hole here. I have another one over here and another one over here. So I have my 3 units. Now it says to divide the 3 units by 3/4. So I have my skittles here. This unit skittle is divided into 4 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3/4. So I need to take 3 of these skittles. So I'll put this 1/4 apart. I don't need that. I have to divide. So now we can do our division. 1 unit for you, 1 unit for you, and 1 unit for you. But remember, the answer in division is always what one person gets, or what 1 unit gets. In this case, what 1 skittle gets. So we have to make our skittle complete. We have to bring the 4th skittle. So we have to be fair. What should we give this skittle? You have to give this skittle 1 as well, just like the others had. So I give this skittle 1. Now we can put the skittles together to have 1. So what is our answer? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3 divided by 3/4, we are having 4. Let's do another problem. Suppose this time around I have a fraction. I have 1/4 and I want to divide that by 2/3. Okay. So 1/4. I'll get my 1/4 fraction instead. This is my 1/4. I want to divide this 1/4 by 2/3. I have my 1/3 skittle here. You can see the unit skittle is divided into 3 parts, so I need 2/3. I'll put this aside. Now I have to divide this 1/4 by these 2/3. What do? I have to find a way of breaking this 1/4 into 2 parts to enable me share between these 2/3 skittles. How do I do that? I'll need to change my 4th to 8ths. So I have my 8ths, these are my 8ths. To exchange 1/4 to 8ths, I will need to have 2 8ths. See, so now I can exchange my 1/4 to 2 8ths. I have my 2 8ths here, and now I'm able to divide 1/8 for you, 1/8 for you. But remember, the answer in division is always what one skittle gets. Therefore, I'll bring this remaining 1/3 here, and because each of these 1/3 has 1/8, it's only fair to give this other skittle 1/8 as well. I got 1/8. Now let's see. Put this together. So how many 8ths do we have here as our answer? 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. My answer is 3/8. Let's do one more division problem. Suppose I have 1/3 and I want to divide that by 3/4. 3/4. So remove. I have my 1/3 here. I mean thirds fraction inside here. And I want to divide that by 3/4. So I have my 4th skittle here. I need 3 of these 4ths. So I put this aside. So these are my 3/4. 1/3. So I have my 1/3 here. I want to divide my 1/3 among these 3/4. What do? I have to find a way of breaking my 1/3 into 9ths. I have my 9ths here. These are my 9ths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have my 9ths here. So let's exchange 1/9, 2/9, 3/9. So I can move this 1/3. It's equivalent. So I'll move this thirds. Now I can share my ninths among these 3 fourth skittles. 1/9 for you, 1/9 for you, 1/9 for you. Remember, the answer in division is always what one person gets or what one skittle gets. So we have to bring this skittle back. So what do we give this 1/4 skittle? It's only fair for us to give it 1/9, just like the other skittles. Each of the other skittles has. I'll get 1/9. Now 1/9 for you. So now we have our unit skittle. And how many are we having all together? We have 1/9, 2/9, 3/9, 4/9. So our answer 4/9. Now let's look at what we have been doing in our division work. Let's look at the first problem we solved here. 1, we divided that by 2/3 and we are ending up with 3 halves. The numerator, let's look at the numerator, told us we have to divide the 1/2 into halves. So we did that, and then the denominator told us how many times we had to take the halves. If you remember what we did, and then we ended up with 3 halves. Let's look at this next problem. If you remember, we had 3 whole numbers. We had 3 wholes. And what do we do? The numerator told us what to do. We divided the numerator among the 3 fourths, and then the denominator told us how many times we had to take that, and we ended up with 4. Look at this problem again. If you remember, we had 1/4, and then we had to break the fourths into 8s, because the numerator is telling us that we had to divide our dividend by 2. So we ended up having 8s, and then we have to take that the denominator told us how many times we had to take the 8s, and we ended up having 3 8s. Again, look at this problem. 1/3. We divided that by 3/4, which is what we have right before us. If you remember, the numerator told us how many times how many places we had to break this into. We had to break the thirds into 3 places, so we had to get the 9ths. And then from the denominator, we knew that we had to take the 9ths 4 times, and we are ending up with 4 9ths. Do you see a relationship between this number and this divisor? And look at this again. Can you see any relationship? Look at this number, 1/4. Look at it. Can you see any relationship? And look at this again, 1/3. Look at it. Can you see any relationship? Let's see. Suppose we flip our divisor over and change this division sign to multiplication sign. What are we going to get? Let's do that and see. We'll flip our divisor over. So I still have my dividend, which is 1/3. And now I want to flip my divisor. So that means this becomes 4. And then my numerator becomes my denominator, 3. And then I change my division sign to multiplication. Now what do we have? 1 multiplied by 4, we are having 4. And 3 multiplied by 3, we have 9. Can you see? So anytime we have division like this, all we need to do is to flip our divisor, because actually the numerator tells us how many times we are. So when you are given a fraction work, division and fraction work, all you need to do therefore is to flip the divisor over and change the sign to multiplication, and then you can work it out. So if we apply that rule, let's see if we are going to get the same answers as we had before. So what we are saying here is that I have 1 here, I flip my divisor over, so I'll have 3 halves, and then change the sign to multiplication. And then what do I have? 3 halves, just as I had before. So you can go ahead and do the rest, apply the rule and do the rest. And anytime you have division problem, you can write your own division problem and apply this rule.